guys want a shot at winning a copy of Call of Duty World War II for the console of your choice for absolutely free, a couple of my friends and I are doing a little giveaway. Link is down there in the description below. Go check it out if you're interested. I'll be honest, I am incredibly excited for the launch of Call of Duty World War II, and as of recently, there's been some stuff that's come out that has really given a lot more incentive and a reason to be excited, because there is a lot of cool stuff coming with this year's title, and some stuff new, some stuff returning, some stuff twisted in a little bit of a different manner that we haven't necessarily seen it. But that said, we're gonna be taking a look at here in this one, 17 things that could make World War II the best COD game in years. Of course, this is all opinionated and subjective, and you guys could agree, disagree, whatever it may be, but I'm gonna bring you guys 17 things that I think are great additions to this year and what could make it a potentially great title. Some things we know of just from generality, some things we know of from personal first-hand accounts in the beta and gameplay experiences that you may have experienced before the beta went live, and then some things as of recent leaks. So there will be some spoilers in here, but I'm gonna try and be as vague as possible on those specifically for the reason so that I don't spoil anything for anybody that really wants the specifics to be a surprise for them. So that said, let's jump into some things that may very well excite you for this year's title. First, let's start out with a couple of housekeeping things. First and foremost, of course, this is one that I'm sure that all of you guys can definitely show some love for, especially based off the past couple of years of Call of Duty, that being boots on the ground. That's something that we have not seen since Call of Duty Ghosts, and of course the years before that as well, but as of recently, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare chose to change up the dynamic a little bit here with this and add in thrusters, exosuits, all kinds of stuff like that, but it really changed the dynamic of the game. Some people found it refreshing, some people absolutely hated it, but while it was a little bit of a change, I think it is a welcome change to come back to the roots of Call of Duty. And that said, that returning to the roots brings us to the second thing of classic combat. We're actually going back to where the franchise started, World War II, revisiting the era, revisiting a narrative that can be told in such a gripping manner. I'm excited for it. I'm really looking forward to this and all the things that may come along with the storyline, the era, all sorts of awesome stuff like that. Now, the third thing that I want to touch on is tons of weaponry. World War II is incredibly iconic for some of the weaponry, and of course, even within the Call of Duty franchise, everybody is passionate about these weapons, and it's nice to see the revisitation of some of them being able to be brought into the forefronts, into that public light once again, and use those ones that you may have grown up absolutely loving in the game franchise. Now, along with the weaponry, we also have a ton of streaks that we can have at our disposal come November, a lot of which we've already played around within the beta. Some are awesome, some are new, and some are going to be very sought after, potentially like that V2 rocket, which we discussed yesterday, which very well could be that air quote secret streak for gun kills, in which it's very similar to the Chem, Moab, Nuke, Deatomizer, DNA Bomb, all that sort of stuff. So the streaks definitely should be something that I'm very intrigued by this year as well. Now, as for other housekeeping things, the next biggest thing to me deals with camos. Since we've had so many games recently go into the far future or really kind of just play on the zany, wacky factor of camos, everybody really wondered how this would take part in the World War II version of Call of Duty. And so, whether you see them or not, it's not going to really spoil anything by me mentioning this here. We have an absolutely large selection of camos as it stands right now within the game code of World War II, potentially even more at the full launch of the game. But what was seen in the data mine files from the beta, there was a large selection of camos available. Now, the even better part that, once again, without spoiling anything, they're all realistic camos. Nothing is too crazy or zany out there. Potential spoiler, I guess, there's a rumored chrome camo, which might be the most zany or out there camo that we see in terms of what we have at our disposal at the moment. So as it stands right now, these camos are more so realistic than that of what some people may have anticipated coming, or rather maybe feared coming at the full launch of World War II. Now, housekeeping aside, what about some new features that are very cool, I think, that will be in World War II that are at least found in that game code that will have that potential to keep players engaged, involved, and actively loving the game itself? As for the first thing, there's login bonuses. That's something we saw with Infinite Warfare, but login bonuses seem to be very stressed within what we saw from some leaks, and that'll be interesting to see what it ends up rewarding players with. Whether it's different credits for the armory, which we'll talk about in a second, or if it's something of some special loot or anything like that, it'll be interesting. Another awesome thing that is brand new to Call of Duty, but of course might be considered a page out of, say, Destiny's book, which, fun fact for you guys, Black Ops 3 had a lot of stuff that was pulled from the pages of Destiny. You guys may or may not remember David Vonderhaar was really vocal about his love for Destiny, so that sort of development kind of shifted over into Black Ops 3, and right now, with this, raids are supposedly going to be coming within World War II, something that will be a first for the Call of Duty franchise, but definitely, if done properly, can be so awesome for players that love to be engaged. Another thing is theater mode. There are some assets that actually indicate recording gameplay, though that was confirmed not to actually be a thing, but theater mode more so in a sense of a communal viewing type of experience in which you can take a look at some other cool stuff with different players. Whatever it may be, it's a nice little way to keep the community involved within itself. Another thing is the armory, which is where we're supposedly going to be getting new items, but it's separate from what is already described as the Quartermaster, so whether or not it's like Infinite Warfare's armory in which you can buy certain things, that'll be interesting, but I'm also hoping that it's something that of like the armory in Advanced Warfare, something where it showcases all the weapons you have and potentially the possibility to delete weapons, which brings out an awesome end in content creation for different wagers and challenges and things like that. So hopefully that sort of thing comes back, but nonetheless, the armory definitely seems to have some really cool things available to it. Another thing that is returning and is going to be absolutely awesome once again, because I loved it in Black Ops 3, and I think a lot of people really did as well, that being contracts and daily and weekly orders. So essentially like your daily bonuses and weekly bonuses for completing challenges, and then overall contracts, that's been described in the game code as returning as well, which will be awesome to see, simply because once again it engages the community much more. Gunsmith is supposedly returning. In what capacity, we don't necessarily know. There's a little bit detailing it, but not all that much to really give a definitive answer. Personally, I'd love to be able to see the ability to make certain variations of your own weapon, use them in that custom slot in which you can just insert your own weapon, how Black Ops 3 has it. I think it's an awesome way to kind of show that off a little bit, and what I'm really hoping for, if that comes along with it, is a paint shop. Custom camos were awesome. All the emblem guys and everything like that that really worked on awesome camos, they made some incredible stuff. So to be able to see that sort of thing come back up, I'd love for that to happen. Now, one other thing that is brand new as well, supposedly, is something called a mail station, in which you can collect wages, rewards from HQ, other different things such as different payments of supply keys, and it's detailed as having a pickup and send option. So maybe you can actually trade certain things within the community as well, which would be awesome. I know that a lot of people were really hoping for some sort of trading system within Black Ops 3 for some weapons. Of course, I don't think that it will ever get to some sort of thing like a market, and if it did, it'd be very complex and very complicated to keep value each individual year. But for what it's worth, to be able to send some sort of, say, key bonus to people, that'd be really cool as well too, which again, could play into some cool ideas for content creation and everything like that. But moving over away from the multiplayer aspects, some new features here or that, I want to talk very briefly on zombies, because there was some stuff that was leaked out here once again from this, so still spoilers do apply here at this, but I'm going to be vague as much as possible so I don't give away anything in specific detail, but we'll just talk in generalities here for this. So first thing out of the zombies mode is that there are going to be classes with special abilities. So very similar to specialists, but not necessarily specialists in that sense, but instead something where players can work towards gaining that special ability, where they will have certain different things attributed to each individual class. So it'll definitely play with the meta on how things work within the game, and I think that'll be really interesting to see how it works out for that co-op experience. And I'm excited to see them actually experiment around a little bit with this. Whereas we just previously had pick a weapon, survive as long as possible, this adds another dynamic to it. It won't actually be replacing anything like Fate and Fortune cards or Gobblegum, because there is a whole thing on that where that sort of stuff is returning, but nonetheless, classes themselves are brand new and it'll be an interesting dynamic. The weapon perks and mods sound really cool to me as well. You can change around some of how your weapons work. You can do different abilities to them. Without divulging too much information on that, it sounds incredibly fascinating on how some of this stuff will work. The Pack-a-Punch camos are one thing that a lot of people were really interested in, and that's something that, having seen them, they're nothing crazy, but they still look fantastic. So, I mean crazy in a bad way in this sense. They do look awesome. I would definitely want to sport them on my weapons, and so I think they did that well. I think they knocked it out of the park there. And finally, the last thing, rounding us out with that 17th thing here for zombies and the video total overall, is the music and ambiance is literally perfect within zombies. Some of those audio files leaked out. Once again, I'm not going to show them or anything like that, but having heard them, if you have heard them yourselves, I'm sure that you can totally get what I say when the scary vibe that brings Dead Space, the edge of your seat anticipation into the zombie scene, it is done so well. So I'm really excited. I think that all of these things, having read through some of the leaks, having read through some of the stuff we've already played, experienced for ourselves, I think that this gets me even more hyped. We are just under 4 weeks away at this point for the launch, and it feels like it can't go by any slower. So I'm super hyped. I'm very excited. Hopefully you guys are as well too. That's gonna round out this video. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Was there anything that caught your attention that you would love to mention? Maybe either really makes this a contender for being one of the best games in recent years, maybe something that deters it from that status, whatever it may be. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Once again, this is all personal preference based, subjective, so you guys may totally agree with this, you may disagree, whatever it may be, it's totally cool. I respect that opinion in its fullest. So that said, hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Call of Duty World War II. Once again, drawn super close, so if any of it interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a beat. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But that said, out of the way, hope you guys had a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine is an Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.